All right. I think that we are live. So this is our very first live as a team. And we wanted to have this opportunity to speak with some of the people that are following us on different social media channels. So it's really exciting to be here with everybody. Joining me today is the awesome Ms. Eva Pomedli. So maybe Eva will just like wait a few minutes to get everybody on here and make sure that everybody's joining us. This is really exciting time for us, obviously. We've been talking about this for quite a while, so it's nice to be able to finally do it, right? Why don't we go ahead and introduce you a little bit? Tell us a little bit about you. Who are you, Eva? A little bit background story in terms of who you are, what you like to do, and yeah. So go ahead.
Okay. So my name's Eva, which you guys already know. I'm an OSA for our team. So that means I'm an outside sales agent. I help people buy and sell homes. I'm a realtor partner and also real estate broker. And what I like to do when I'm not helping clients and showing properties is I love to do anything with my dog. His name's Jeffrey. Um, and also, I love to go to the gym and pretty much, when I do go out, which is not all that often, I prefer to go to comedy shows over anything else. So I love comedy.
So let's go back a little bit about your dog, because I think like the story behind your dog is not like anybody else's, getting a pet. So talk about your dog. What is his or her name? And where did your dog come from? I think this is an interesting story. I think a lot of people don't know about ways in which you can actually have a dog like yours. And her dog is amazing, by the way. Okay, so without further
Yeah.
ado, talk.
Okay. So, the story behind my dog, his name is Jeffrey. He's actually from Mexico. He's a rescue. So there's a rescue called All Paws Matter that's here in Ontario, and they partner with a shelter in Mexico called SOS El Cara. And re- their rescue over there, and essentially Jeffrey was found on the street with a significant head injury. They took him in at SOS Cara and nursed him back to health. When I saw Jeffrey, he was a scruffy dog online, and he was up for what they call a direct adoption, which means that I would not get the chance to meet Jeffrey in person before picking him up. So what they did is they shipped him out with five other dogs to Montreal. And I was there with a couple other people getting ready to pick up our dog. There was so much going through my mind. I was probably going through all the YouTubes, like the worst case scenarios, because I had no idea what a dog from Mexico or from the streets, like what kind of problems would come with it. But when I got him, he was just perfect. Like I couldn't even believe it.
And
Yeah.
he really is perfect, by the way. Like he doesn't bark ever. He like follows you. I've seen him. I think we posted a few pictures in the past about Jeffrey visiting us at the office, where
Yeah.
he just like the way he looks at you, he's so grateful, and you really take such good care of him. Everybody that sees Jeffrey wants to have a dog, wants to have a Jeffrey. So yeah, there's a lot to say about Jeffrey for sure. And then, yeah, you said your hobbies are really going to the gym and comedy shows. So, side note, Eva is super funny as well. Some of the jokes sometimes she throws in our huddles is really, really funny. So maybe you'll catch some today. I don't know. But so how did you and I meet, Eva? Tell me about like when was it that you joined our team?
So I joined our team here in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Just a reminder, like it was during the pandemic. I think like nobody was like aware of what was to come. Certainly a time of uncertainty, to say the least, and also uncertainty in real estate for sure. I was already in real estate on my own for about a year at that point. So I was ready. I was really ready for a team at that time, to
Yeah.
say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about that? Before we get into like how it came about, the union between Eva and I, which is by the way 2019. So now we're like 2024. So it's been like 5 years. But when how did you get into real estate? Like what made you? I always find this story so fascinating for all of us because everybody in real estate has literally gotten into real estate for different reasons, different purposes. But I want to know, why don't you share everybody, like what made you decide the world of real estate?
Yeah. I think we were talking about this a little bit yesterday, but real estate is really not usually anybody's like first plan. So it's always like, what made you stray from whatever you were doing to come to real estate? So I grew up in Ottawa and I decided to go the University of Ottawa after high school. I was there for an honors Bachelor of Social Science with specialization in conflict studies and human rights. It was my plan at the start to be a lawyer. That's what I thought I was going to do. Um, and I really loved learning about everything in my program and the Faculty of Social Science in general. Like learning about people, human rights, and like what we could do to make everybody's experience better. But what I found was the opportunities for me were going to be pretty far away from people in all reality. I would kind of be pushing paper, or I don't know. I honestly, I'm not sure. And I decided that real estate looked like an interesting option for me. And I decided to finish up my degree, but also during that last year, go to real estate school. And I mean, university is definitely a time of like, why not try it? If there's any time to try it, it's now. So that's what I decided to do, be in front of people in the happiest times of their life. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted.
I gotta say that I really um have to say that for real estate is really exciting because we really do make people go through a good, exciting journey for the most part. And then whenever we take them to the destination is actually like a happy destination. Whether they're getting through a rough position, rough situation in their lives, I find that that's the beautiful thing with real estate. That's I also find that like very gratifying, and yeah, so we're blessed to be in this industry. Okay, so with that, you decided to get into the world of real estate. I want to give some shout out to some people, if I may, because I see some people have joined. First of all, hi Kristen. Shout out to Paulo, Ricardo, M's, the nerdy cat lover, Celine, Christine, and Sherman, of course. So I just want to say hello. Thank you for joining us live. Yeah, so now that you were thinking, okay, I want to get into real estate. What was your experience? You like, how did you decide on like how to go about it, how to get into having your license? Like, how did that come about?
So, well, really Google was helping me figure it out because I don't know anybody in real estate at all. Like, never knew anybody, didn't come in contact. Like, I don't like some people in our industry, it's like their parents and their parents' parents, and like it just goes on forever. That's definitely not like my experience at all. So when I was in like the law library at the University of Ottawa, I was like Googling like how to become a realtor, like whatever it was. And yeah, so I decided to go to real estate school at the same time, my last year of university. And even what was in the curriculum was a shock. Like, there's actually math in there, and there's like directions of things in there. They didn't tell you anything about like how are you going to meet anybody that's looking to buy or sell. Like, they didn't talk about teams. They didn't talk about anything. And honestly, I thought that I was going to go to a brokerage and like they would maybe even give me clients and like, that's how people found realtors. They just called brokerages in their area. And
Yeah.
I went ahead and I got my license, and I will tell you, it was a shocking awakening when I realized I'd have to find people, right?
Yeah.
And then the next journey, as you know, right, Anna, is like you need a brokerage to put your license under. So
Yeah.
you're going and talking to brokerages, and uh, I thought they were actually I thought they were interviewing me to
Hmm.
see if I was good enough. So I kind of just joined the first place that said that they would take me, but I realize now that I should have been interviewing them.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's so funny you say that. I think a lot of people, like, I mean, imagine we wanted to be the professionals in this industry, which was real estate, and we didn't have the knowledge of like how this whole process goes about, right? So that much more for the general public. So I think this is also really like educational for the general public in terms of like how real estate actually operates, like what's behind the, like what happens behind the scenes, right, for you to get your license and things like that. So yeah, part of what we needed to do was to be part of a brokerage. We needed to hang our license in a brokerage. And so there's a lot of big box brokerages, traditional brokerages out there. Obviously, we're not going to name any names, but I want to know, like, how did you decide on the brokerage that you signed up for? Like, how did you decide on this specific brokerage? Like, what made you choose them? That's always like really, really interesting to me as to like, you didn't know that you had to be the one interviewing them, and you thought they're interviewing you. Meanwhile, they're like, whoever wants to come in, come on down, right? But like, I want
Yeah.
to know, how did you choose that specific brokerage? Like, what was the thought process behind that?
So the reason why I chose the brokerage I did was because it was in an area, like the office was in an area that I wanted to sell in. So
Mm-hmm.
I just decided that that was the best one because I thought that, oh, that if they are located in that area, that means that they are all selling in that area.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that realtors, they like worked certain areas too. And I was like, okay, well, like I want to be a Canada realtor or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's what I did. Uh, as simple
That's how
as
you
that.
chose the brokerage. That's
And
really interesting.
it seems so naive looking back on it, but like, how was I to know? you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. I definitely get that. I think like for me, I got into real estate thinking, you know what, I'm gonna make my own hours, I'm gonna be my own boss. There's all these opportunities. It's so easy. Just put up a for sale sign and sell, or take your buyers that the brokerage is gonna give you and just help them find a home. How hard can it be, and things like that. So very similar stories there. So let's go to, so you found your brokerage and you got in, right? Like,
Mhm.
congratulations, you're in our brokerage, you're the chosen one. So obviously that made you feel good, I would imagine. So what happened after that? You got into the brokerage, and then what was that 1 year like? Like what was the realization of like what it is to be in the profession of real estate?
Yeah. So it was very interesting. Like when I was in real estate school, I mean, I feel like everybody in my life, like, was talking to me about real estate and, oh, maybe I'll move and I want to buy a house one day. And it was very like free and nobody felt threatened by me while I was in school. And then I feel like as soon as I got my license and I'm like telling everybody, like, by the way, I'm registered now, um, silence, silence, like, oh, I don't want to, oh, is she gonna pressure me into something? Oh, I'm not moving. And then if they were moving, like, why would they choose me anyways? Like, I just got my license, right?
Yeah.
And when I would go to the office every single day, like get dressed up like a realtor, go to the office every single day. And I thought that maybe I would get clients by just like, I don't know, by osmosis, like like if people are doing deals around me, maybe I would just get some of their success like rubbed off on
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was definitely because there's like a bullpen, right? Like I wasn't successful enough to have my own office, so I'm like with all the computers and stuff.
Okay, actually, that's a good thing to talk about, because a bullpen. What's a bullpen? So, as you know, like English is not my first language. For the longest time, I was calling it a ball pen. But a bullpen is like, essentially that's where it came from, like bulls, right? Like you put bulls in different like areas. And so we are bulls because we're like kind of like sharks out there and things like that. So they wanted to give it some kind of like a name. I think that's where it came from anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the thought process in my head. But like, what is a bullpen? It's sort of like, what do you call those? Sort of like a little like cubicles, right? Where you're sitting, there's a computer, and then you're like, yeah, you're sort of like office less, or like in the world of a real estate professional, you're like a homeless realtor that you're sitting in the middle of like the office. That is not your space, so you cannot decorate it, but you're just sitting there utilizing this common area, and for you to make calls and things like that, right?
It's
So that's what
it's
that.
like a public library. Like if you see the way that their
Yeah.
computers are set up, like that's the way it is. And it's supposed to be like, oh, if you needed to stop somewhere and like quickly write up an offer, why not use that space, right? But I was just sitting there like waiting for, I don't know, a client to walk in, or somebody like maybe a more successful realtor to like throw someone my way. Um, or
We've got somebody incoming. Come on, help
I
this buyer or
and
seller. Right?
and there was a lot of newbie agents too, or like I was just hoping somebody would like offer me an open house, like that would be like the gold mine. Which I did. Like I did get some open houses, and I tried to work it and do what I could, but it was a realization that, okay, none of my family and friends, they're not looking to buy or sell, or if they are, they're not looking to buy or sell with me in particular, because I just got my license and everybody knew that. Um, there was not clients walking in off the street every single day like I thought. Like I thought clients, they just like walked into real estate offices and said like, I want a realtor. That's not really the case. And also nobody was giving me their secret to their real estate success. The tips and tricks I got was tell everybody that you know that you're a realtor, um, hang out at bars or restaurants where you might hear that somebody's looking to buy or sell, and even if I did hear that, I wouldn't know what to say. um, and go through like the yellow pages and like start dialing, which or there was also the door knocking, and all of it felt like pretty inauthentic to me. That's what I felt like. Oh my gosh, did I really get into something I'm not a good fit for? That's what it
Yeah.
felt like.
Yeah. It's so true, eh? Like they I know for myself, I was told to like, you know, go ahead and door knock. Or the best thing was like, okay, go on Canada 411, run the do not call list and start calling. You know, you gotta ask them 3 times if they're looking to buy or sell. And I'm by nature, I'm not a shy person, so I was doing that, but I soon realized that that was not the way to go. So very similar stories. This is how traditional real estate operates. And so, we've both been in that scenario. So let's fast forward to like 12 months later. How did we meet? Like what happened? What was the culprit? Like, how did you and I first got in touch with each other? Tell me your side of the story. Obviously, like I know my side of the story, but tell me
Um,
your side of the story.
well, my side of the story was that I knew if my real estate career was going to continue the way it did, that I'd be out pretty soon. Um, but I always kind of thought I was like just on the edge of my big break. I don't know what I thought was really going to happen, but I was like, people like they're just waiting to find me, you know. But I did decide like maybe being on my own like wasn't the best option for me, which was a hard like kind of hit to the ego, to be honest. Um, and I did interview for a couple of teams, well, one team, and I didn't seem like a good fit. They were looking for somebody with a sizable database of their own to bring in, and I didn't have that, so I wasn't a good fit. And one day I was in the middle of, wondering if real estate was for me, and I got a call from Anna asking if I have seriously ever thought about joining a team, which in that moment, I was actually I was thinking about like, am I going to lie or am I going to tell the truth? Like, am I going to say that everything's going great? Because in the world of real estate, like you check social media and everybody is apparently absolutely killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Or was I going to say that yeah, I have been thinking about it, and tell the truth, show my cards a little bit. And I decided to say, yes, I have been thinking about it. Uh,
Yeah. I gotta say that it's like, yes, it was like pure coincidence, but at the same, not coincidence, because I did a bit of a background check on you, which maybe I'll get into here a little bit. But aside from that, I thought like, um, it's funny you say that because oftentimes when I do have these conversations with different agents that I think like may be a good fit for the team, um, it's hard because in the world of real estate, you have to show this like persona of you of like, killing it, having this crazy database. And I never realized until this moment where you said I didn't have a sizable database. That's the reason why the teams weren't interested in me. But I thought to myself, like, that's the reason why whenever I talk to like agents and I'm trying to like screen them, they're like, oh, yeah, I have a database. Like, we don't care about your database in the team, right? Obviously, because we have a completely different way of operating than the traditional real estate. But it's kind of interesting what you say. And the fact that you were like really vulnerable at that moment, I thought that was another great thing that happened, spark that happened in order for us to meet that day. So I thought that was really, really good. But yeah, so my background story of you was that I was looking for somebody who I thought was a go-getter, somebody that really was similar to myself in that they really were trying different things, and I know that now, I know that at that point you were trying even like running seminars where you didn't know what you were going to talk about, but you were actually doing that. And like compared to like the knowledge that you have, like it's crazy right now what you know about real estate compared to at that moment, but you were still doing it, so that's really admirable. But also the other thing with you was that you were really willing to, you didn't have this big ego, right? And I think that is the key right there. Didn't have a big ego, was willing to learn. And then the other thing I did with you was I did look at your production and I did look you up on social media to see, who you are. Who's this person? Like, I have a name. Who's this person? What kind of like stuff they do? Who are they? And like, pictures and things like that. And so anyway, so I called you up. I said, hey, have you ever considered joining a team? And at that moment, he said, yes. We met, and it was like complete two strangers. And so what happened at that meeting? Because we went out for a coffee, right? And so what happened? What was what was going on in your head at that moment when you met with me? I'm curious. I don't think I asked you that ever.
Okay. Yes. Well, I was very self-conscious, I guess, when I came, like, oh my gosh, this is like a real interview. Like, let's not screw it up again. That's what I was thinking. I also drove a terrible car, like on the verge of like absolutely like a busted up Honda Civic. Like it was rusted all over. So I parked at like the back of the parking lot, which
Yeah,
whenever I
I
went to
can.
showings too, I parked like around the corner. I didn't want anybody to know. Um, which in real estate, like I feel like you say you're in real estate, somebody expects that you're in a Mercedes like already. Um, and when I met Anna, I was like, I was listening to her and it just seemed like, is this like a scam? Like it's too good to be true. Like it is nothing like anything that I ever heard. Like that she has people ready to go. She has a big database. Like all I have to do is show up and work and learn and train. And I'm like, not only do you have the clients, but also you're willing to give me like your secret, you know?
Mhm.
So I just I couldn't believe it at all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like so when you showed up to, because at that moment I was at another office. I was at a Remax office. And then you showed up that day. I'm like, okay, let's just come to the office tomorrow. And I think your thought process was, I'm just going to show you. But then I even showed you on my phone, if my memory serves me correctly. I showed you
Yeah.
on my phone, hey, you know what? These are all the people I'm working with. Like, this is like, look, I just got somebody just call me about this or that and this and that. And you were just like, is she like telling the truth? Or is this like, I've never seen such a thing like this? And truthfully, in your shoes, when I was a few years back, I would have had the same, like, I would have been like, oh, I'm not sure if this is really true. So, but then you came to the office and literally it was like, okay, so you are having to send your resignation to the brokerage you're in, and you're just going to get transferred over, which totally shocked you, I think. I didn't know that I guess you had different ideas that you're just going to come and like maybe do a couple of, I don't know, open houses or something like that. But literally that day, we just got you transferred over. And yeah, so then what has been your experience since you actually joined the team? Now, by the way, for those people watching, Eva has been the longest standing realtor partner with the team. She knows the system inside and out. She knows how we operate. She knows, a lot of things about what it is that we do. So tell me about that. Tell me, like, at the beginning, when you were talking to buyers and sellers, I think this is not something that we talked about, but at the beginning, when you were talking to buyers and sellers, what was the response you were getting? And like, what was it? How has that changed? Like, what was your experience like, I know there's a couple of questions in there that I'm asking simultaneously, but like maybe let's
Yeah.
start off with, okay, you joined the team. What was it? What was the like right away effect that you experienced?
Well, I think you had a real overflow of people that you already signed, already met with, like that were so ready to go. You just literally didn't have enough time to get in your car and go show it. So I picked
Mm-hmm.
up people right away, and right away it was like, okay, Eva, you got to call this person. She's a referral. Um, you got to call so and so. Like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I think I did like 10 deals that way, probably in the first 3 months. It was like
Yeah.
shocking. And by the way, in my first year, I did like one sale and like three rentals and a buyer or whatever, which now looking back on it, that's not a bad first year, to be quite
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Like now,
Did you
in
know
real estate.
that, sorry to interrupt you.
Mhm.
Did you
Yeah.
know that there was there was a statistics that was just released that 50% of agents in the past 12 months have done 0 to 1 transaction across North America. So I don't care if you're watching here in Ottawa or you're watching from New York or you're watching from California, wherever you are, 50% of the agents in the profession have done 0 to 1 transactions in the past 12 months. That is the statistics, unfortunately. Hey, by the way, shout out to our amazing client, Gladys. Thank you so much for writing us that awesome little, awesome paragraph. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. So anyway, let's go back to what we were talking about. So you also did really great because before you, I did try out other like working in partnership with other realtor partners that didn't necessarily pan out the way it did. So I was really, really happy about the fact that we had this awesome synergy going on and just like really working well together. Because I think the other thing that we've got going is like really good communication as well. And you were really dedicated. So, anyways, within the 3 months, you did 10 deals. And I remember that specifically because people were like, okay, did you sell anything today this week? And you're like, yeah, I did. And it was really
Yeah.
awesome. I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, and so
I,
like what happened to your car? You what were you
oh,
doing to your
yes.
car when you were going into these showings? Because yeah, that's when you joined the team, that's when I saw your car for the first time. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay. So, you know,
Yeah. You're probably like, am I really gonna let this girl show up like this? Which,
well, I had I had some conversations with my dad about that. But anyways, which we talked about it. But then, like right away you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta like, step
well,
it up. And yeah, so
um, well, truthfully, it wasn't right away because if anybody knows about real estate, we don't get paid the day a deal is done.
right.
We get paid
That's true.
on the closing. So I did go like quite a while driving around, and I even remember clients like I did a lot of like in those times like a dad was buying a house for a daughter, or like a dad would be there, and it was kind of like that.
Mm,
And I remember even they
yeah,
were like, "Can I follow you home? Like I don't think your car's gonna make it." That's what they said to me.
I remember.
I was like, oh my gosh, you care if I make it home? That's so nice. But anyways, yes, after that time, I did end up getting a new car, but I am so happy to have the picture of my old car at the time. It was like such a struggle, and I remember I couldn't even park on hills because
Mm,
the emergency brake didn't really work. So I was
sure.
always like, oh, I hope I don't show up and there be like a hill. You know, what
Yeah.
am I gonna do if there's a hill there? Um, yeah, and I ended up getting a
But this is the reality, right? Like before we get into real estate, we're like, oh my gosh, let me just get into real estate for a quick buck. And then you get in there and you realize, oh my gosh, not only do I not have the freedom of my own time, like, so, you know, that meme where it says, like, I was trying to not work 9 to 5 and I end up working 24/7. So that's like,
Yeah.
that's totally applicable to real estate, especially traditional real estate. But you know, when you have proper plans and systems in place, things start to get better because, you know, there's different pieces to it that work really well and create like a good momentum, right? So it was interesting you say that, because I remember one time you and I were having a conversation and you're like, oh my gosh, I went to show a home to this person that was moving, this client of ours that was moving from another city, which I think you know who I'm talking about, was moving to Ottawa. And you're like, you're going all over town, by the way, from east to west. And you know what, if that client of ours is watching, you know, we love you, we're not mentioning any names, but I think you were like, oh my gosh, I park really far so they don't see my car, and then they end up actually seeing your car. So you were very so this whole thing with your car, it's pretty significant. So when it came to the team, let's talk about like what was a change in like environment, but also like training. Like, what was the training like, as opposed to, because I know a lot of the brokerages, big box brokerages, talk about training, talk about, oh yeah, we're family, we're this, we're that. But like, what was your experience like before? And then, you know, when you came to this team, which was just a little tiny team at the time, right?
Mhm.
So maybe talk a little bit about that.
So before, when I was joining a brokerage, I was looking for training. Like I was like, I want somebody that's gonna tell me what to say and when to say it and how to get clients, and like just give me a formula and I'm like more than happy to follow it. I'm definitely like a systems oriented person already. So that like works in my favor when I know what to say, but it doesn't exactly work in my favor when I'm expected to improv on the spot sometimes.
Yeah.
So the training that I did receive from before I joined the team, it was mostly about like how do you fill out offers, about, you know, I organized a septic system I don't know, training thing from wherever. It was like really, it's information that I need to know, but like how am I ever going to get there? Like if there's no sale to be done, like there's no septic system for me to worry about. Like if there's no offer being done, I don't have to worry about how to write an offer. And like I was not even at that stage yet.
Mhm.
And then when I joined the team, well, one big difference was like it's not about sitting around and hoping for a client to come because there's systems in place. Like there is going to be a client there for you. And you guys showed me how to do that and how to get somebody to work with me. Like, how do you professionally onboard a client,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And to deal with
Oh, I like
objections and to
that.
deal with the worries, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it was overall like a more professional, polished version of myself. You know, I'm not going out of my way and not being me, but also like it gave me all the tools to work from a day one client. Like, how do you convert a stranger to a client? Which was
Mhm.
all the difference. And the training that we do get here in our team is exactly scripted, what to say, when to say it, and really all the missing pieces I was looking for.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
I like what you said about professionally onboarding a client, because oftentimes in real estate, you know, you say like your brokerage was telling you to go to bars and just like hang around and try to find buyers and sellers and whatnot. For me, they were saying go door knock, you know, just show up to somebody's door, like as if I'm like, you know, those people that want to clean up like pipes or things like that, right? Like, here I am suited up. Hello, you're looking to buy or sell or move or whatever. Um, So that's unfortunate that they teach you, I mean, they teach us to do it that way. And so I know this is going to be very educational to some people, because I know that when we talk to our clients, some of them, they're like, yeah, you know what, I'm thinking about getting into real estate, because they watch all these like different shows and they're like, exciting, you know, it is exciting. It is a great profession, but when it's done right. So I love the fact that you said professionally onboard a client, because that's something that we do. And so in other words, clients, they actually, so what it is that we do here is that you actually get to talk to them, what you and I both thought in terms of, what wouldn't it be nice if the brokerage actually gave us the buyers and sellers and then trained us as to how to provide the better service to them, as opposed to just learning how to do the forms, because that, doing the forms and all that, as important as it is, it can be done with our awesome support team to make sure that we eliminate any kind of mistakes. Okay. So that's really cool. So tell me, like, how has your perspective changed? If, you know, after joining the team, like, what is your life like now as somebody in the team? You know, what is it? How has that changed?
Well, a lot of it has changed from the training happening that just totally like rewired my brain and how this whole real estate thing is supposed to go, because it's really like groundbreaking new stuff in our industry. Like absolutely nobody that I ever saw was doing things the way that they're done here. That was insane. Um, Also, like, I'm just so much more knowledgeable because, like, training is great, but that in conjunction with doing a high number of volume, even though,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm learning from my own transactions, which I'm like the buyer, seller, realtor for, but also like from your experiences too. I was learning because we were in, you know, the same office, but also like I was, and then like I know it sounds so funny, like I was expecting to like learn from osmosis in my other brokerage, but I kind of did learn from osmosis with you because I was hearing like all about your stories, like how offer presentations were going, how offers were coming in, how you got the buyer the best possible deal. And I was even learning from day one, like how could you, I remember asking you this, like how could you possibly win in multiple offers? Or how could
To
you
mastering
possibly
it, by the way, to mastering it. And
mastering it? Yeah,
time,
exactly.
I think during the time of when there were multiple offers, I think that, I mean, now I can certainly say that a lot of our people in Ottawa anyway, they all know who Eva is, and when she's coming in, she means business. Literally, we have agents contacting you and saying, "Hey, you know what? I got this thing going on. Do you have a buyer for it?" and so on, just because you are like, you are the most what is that badge they give, the most like contributing
Oh,
person,
top
because
contributor on the Facebook
yeah,
page. Yeah,
the private
I
Facebook
recall.
page. That, yes. So it's just because you have that and you totally like embraced it. And that's what I love about you, because you have totally taken what is here, and you know, you are not a person that has like crazy ego. You're not a person that's like me. You're totally like team player. You totally believe in the vision that we're going towards. And because of that, like you are who you are. And like for the multiple offers, like whenever you were going in, like I remember, yeah, from the beginning, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how multiple offers happen. Like, how do you come up with price? And then you went in there and you were just like going in there and getting the house. It's like, yeah, this is war. We are ready to like take this home for our buyers. And then same thing goes for sellers. You know, you were getting like crazy prices on the sales side. So, you know, it's all to you. It's because what you have been, you know, it's your dedication. So that's really cool, because you didn't have to like spend your time trying to like get in front of people were just coming to you, and because of the number of volumes that you were doing, you did really well. Now
Mhm.
So right now, this is you, Eva. Um, let's talk about, let's maybe change the gear and talk about I think people like to know again, we want to kind of share what happens behind the scenes. Tell me about a story. Can you think about a time where something funny happened in real estate? Something that, people don't think this happens, but like tell me a funny story or a funny experience you've had during real estate.
Yeah, we have all types of stories. Um,
Yep.
like I like let your imagination run wild when you're in people's private homes, right? So I was out on a showing with somebody that was moving to Ottawa from out of town. When that happens, you always want to show Ottawa like in the best possible light. Like we're like such a like a clean, nice, like government, like safe, family friendly, um, all this stuff, which is true. We really are. But we went into a property. There was tenants inside. The home, what there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people in there. But tenants are allowed to be home. Like it's in their right to be home
Yeah.
during showings. So that's fine. We were there. They were cooking, they were laughing. Like it was like I was interrupting a party. Everybody knew we were there. It was okay. We're going. I'm with a father-daughter, like I said before, in my early days, right?
Yeah.
I go, I'm like, can I go in here? Okay, yeah, it's fine. And then we get to the washroom, and I'm like, okay, is anybody in here? Can I go in here? They're all laughing and talking another language as well that I don't understand. And they're like, yeah, yeah, go in, it's good. I go in there, whoop, there's somebody in the shower. Uh,
God.
And everybody knew that that's what was going to happen. I didn't see anything. And because of all the commotion, I didn't hear the shower going. Um, but yeah, that's probably my funniest story that I walked in on somebody in the shower.
The
But
shower.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is live. This is
And,
what happens. Yeah.
and I knock on every door since then.
We don't door
Hello,
knock. Whenever we see a door close, knock. Yeah, for sure.
hello. Yes.
Anybody in there?
Anybody
Yeah,
want to make yourself
need to
known?
cover up. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So as you know, we have our core values here in the team, and now, of course, the brokerage, your home sold guarantee realty. Um, what is your favorite core value? Like we've got are like behind us all these things popping. It says go serve big. Serve is actually the acronym for our core values at your home sold guarantee realty, and all those little dots you see are different offices across North America where there is a your home sold guarantee realty. So if you don't see one, there's going to be one opening up in no time. Serve stands for, it's an acronym for the core values. It stands for second mile service, as you know. E stands for empower and inspire others. R is results driven. V is value relationships by expressing gratitude. And the last E stands for embracing continuous improvement. So, with that being said, what is your favorite core value of the brokerage and maybe why? Like, tell us why.
Yeah. So my favorite is embrace continuous improvement, which I feel like isn't a shock at all. I've always been like on my own, really into personal development. And with a team, it's just accelerated, really. Like when you have a team behind you that's willing to give you the resources, the perspective, and even the criticism required to grow. Like, yes, there like you need some healthy dose of criticism. You can really excel, and our team really is always bringing it to the next level. Like industry wide, I think we're next level. But also for our own personal journey, like how can we bring ourselves to the next level? How do we do it better for the client? How do we get more wow result? How do we get better reviews? Like, how can we find more off-market properties? How can we just make a difference? Like, how can we donate more to our community? How do we, like,
Yeah.
all of these things? And I think, like, we take it really seriously, and all our clients get surveys, and we always ask, like, how can we do a better job for you? And I think when that's at the core of everything that you do, like, how is failure an option? You know, even if you do, let's say, fail, it's a learning experience. And like having a team behind me that's there to support me no matter what pushes me to like try, because like I know I have a support system to fall back on. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think that is really awesome. I think that is what we're trying to do. I think in the world of you've heard me say this, where there's like participation awards given. I think that where we can get better is really by not just participating, because this is your saying, which I love, which is like, that's just bare minimal. Right? You say that's just bare minimal. How can we step up to the next level? And that's true. That's something that we try to do every single time. Although, like, we're there, like, whatever that level is, we try to, for the next time around, do even better. So whether it's on the buyer side, on the seller side, but also the experience as a team here, we're always I think, like, we're always growing and evolving. And I'm hoping that that's, evolving for the better. That's why maybe you're here since 2019. But
yeah.
any final thoughts you want to share today, Eva?
um I guess for everybody, just like try to find an environment that fosters fosters like just a great experience, like people behind you that will be there to support you, people that will be brutally honest with you when you need it. Be open to like finding a better way, you know? And like love what you do, I think is the biggest part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think, like, if everybody gets to do what they love doing, they'll do amazing throughout. So, but I gotta say one last thing is that what you said, which is like, we're always trying to find a way to get better. Like, we survey our clients. Part of the reason why we're doing what we're doing right now, and we've improved this year some of our systems and things like that, was because of a survey. I think one of the biggest things we were getting last year was like, who is this team? What are you talking about? Where are they? They would see like Eva or what have you, or me, or different team members. And I think, like, this year, by doing this particular like live here, allows people to get to see the rest of the team members, that makes this such a vibrant and supportive community. And of course, we want to try to get bigger, have more like-minded people join us, of course, but also for the purpose of being able to serve more people and make a bigger impact in our community. So with that, this is our very first live. So thank you so much for helping me with this. It couldn't have been done any better. So I really, really appreciate you being here. And, again, of course, I want to say thank you to our support team in the background. We really appreciate you. And that's it. That's our first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And as you can see, Eva, I don't know if I'm pointing the right direction. I think maybe this way. This is Ms. Eva Pomedli, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today, Eva.
Thank you so much. And I just want to take a second and say, like, I'm grateful for everybody that's obviously taken a moment to join the live. I'm also grateful for everybody that's ever, said yes to us or said yes to me in particular to like allow me to help them. And like, obviously I wouldn't have any experience if everybody said no along the
Yeah.
way. And if anybody's watching that's thinking about joining a team, I mean, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Have an amazing rest of the day. It's a little bit rainy here, but I hope that this was making you guys have a brighter day in your homes. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.